Chrissy Lampkin simply exuded confidence as she left the courthouse, and there was no sign of Jim Jones. Why? For what was revealed throughout that hearing. This is the type of secret that you avoid becoming better. A voicemail, a baby, and a name she vowed never to reveal on camera. She did, however, say it clearly and loudly tonight while crying, and you know what? The judge did not even bat an eyelid. Do you believe you've witnessed drama? This isn't love and hip-hop anymore, this is real life. You've never seen a woman show his mother the DNA results and say, "Tell her who the father is or I will." She told the world everything. Jim, if you're watching. The truth is now known on the internet. With blazing eyes and a quivering voice, he stared directly into the camera and muttered, "I didn't believe she'd actually depart." He then cut off the live stream, but it was already too late. The world has already witnessed the new broken guy who had previously declared he would die before losing. Chrissy Lampkin. What transpired has been simmering for months behind those stately doors. However, no one anticipated that Chrissy would actually do it. She secretly filed for divorce while Jim was out in Los Angeles with someone he vowed to be done with. It was recently revealed. And it wasn't just messy, it was volcanic when Chrissy found out. Baby. According to insiders, Chrissy found a second phone. Yes, Jim had hidden a full burner apparatus behind his floorboard. Studio. Who was it that was blowing up that phone, you ask? His former partner. Chrissy forewarned him about the same ex. The person she almost struck in 2018 when she observed her backstage during one of Jim's performances. She had returned. She also had evidence this time that Jim was telling her everything Chrissy was unaware of. Chrissy allegedly obtained screenshots of their most recent correspondence. We are discussing hundreds of texts, audio notes, and even pictures of Jim and this woman taken 3 weeks ago at a Miami hotel. Chrissy believed he was going to see his mother the same weekend. When she challenged him, Jim seemed to initially, I laughed. It was ancient stuff, he claimed. She'd already talked to the woman, though Chrissy, and the woman didn't hold back. Darling, based on a leak he told me y'all were just business, that you were living separate lives, and you had your own thing going. The woman stated on the phone conversation between Chrissy and the ex. He said that the only reason he hasn't left yet is because it would look awful on TV. Producers from Love and Hip Hop are in complete panic mode since Chrissy didn't stop at divorce papers. And that recording is likely to come to light. She demands complete creative control over her footage and wants to leave the reality show completely. The previous 2 seasons. The most outrageous aspect is that Jim's loved ones claim he is mentally collapsing. They say he has been phoning Chrissy constantly, sobbing on voicemails, pleading with her to keep his reputation intact. He even said that if she took him back, he would shut down the entire show. But she's done. Chrissy, this isn't love. She allegedly told one of her pals, I wasted 20 years believing he'd grow up. It's a shame. Then there's the financial aspect. Chrissy covertly engaged a forensic accountant months ago, according to sources, and what she discovered will rock the internet. Jim is accused of moving shared funds into a different account using the only beneficiary is mentioned as the mother. It's true that Chrissy thinks Jim was preparing to flee and abandon her. According to an insider on Chrissy's legal team, she was even upset, but now she's angry. It's not just about cheating, it's about financial, emotional, and personal betrayal on all fronts. Jim, on the other hand, is asserting that he never cheated. That Chrissy is exaggerating everything and claiming that the woman was merely a historical figure attempting to connect. If that's the case, then, why did he go live on Instagram last night after removing all traces of Chrissy? For 45 minutes, Jim talked endlessly while pacing his living room and drinking directly from a bottle of Henny. I ain't perfect, he once declared. However, I loved her as best I could, and if that wasn't true, viewers swarmed the discussion, some pleading with him to fight for her, while others criticized him for his phony tears and reminded him that this wasn't the first time he had deceived her. I suppose I failed. Chrissy's confidence. The worst part is that a live viewer said they could hear a woman's voice whispering in the background. Don't say too much. With that, social media went crazy. Who is she? In the meantime, Chrissy has been utterly silent on Instagram. Was the ex there in the house throughout the live stream? Was Jim truly devastated, or was he merely attempting to steer the conversation? However, she only wrote 5 lines, protecting my peace from now, on her story this morning. That post has already received over 80,000 VH1 is in utter disarray. According to an unidentified producer, The network was rushing to re-edit the current season to minimize Jim and Chrissy's moments because they were concerned that Chrissy would reveal cover-ups behind the scenes, including one that allegedly involved Jim. This is a ticking time bomb. Not a love tale anymore. And fans are now demanding that Chrissy pay off a crew member to remove a video showing him leaving a hotel room with someone who wasn't Chrissy. Twitter is exploding with hashtags like #TeamChrissy and #JimAtLoyal. And one thing is certain. This is not how anyone anticipated this chapter to conclude. Yet right when we thought it would. Not only that, but last night, a voicemail purportedly from Jim to the woman he slept with was leaked. In it, he says something that even Chrissy's closest friends claim they are unable to forgive. "I've had enough of acting. The cameras were the only reason I stayed. The only person I can breathe around is you." Fans immediately recognized the anonymous leak from the Miami woman who was thought to be the same ex-boyfriend. Identified Jim's voice. In the background, you can clearly hear his chain clinking. "I'm sorry I lied to you. I'm leaving her soon. Just be patient," concludes the message. Boom. The jaws of the internet fell. And now the same question is being asked by everyone. Ever was Jim truly in love? Or was the entire relationship is it merely a TV illusion? Chrissy remained silent. Not right now. Not even at the conclusion of the live broadcast. She simply sat there with 1,000 thoughts, her heart broken, her face frozen, rushing behind her eyes. A woman was mocked online, but what many failed to notice was the fire she was going to start. Since Chrissy refused to cry, not now. Jim was about to experience everything she had suppressed for the past 18 years. Chrissy was already on the phone with her legal team that night while Jim slept on the couch. Phones still exploding from trolls and websites. She also contacted the same lawyers who had defended Beyoncé's cousin in that well-known adultery case. So it wasn't just any lawyers. She was really serious about it. She submitted the papers by morning. Official divorce that cannot be negotiated. It gets dark at this point, because Chrissy's decision to go public was unexpected. She didn't simply tell the Shade Room the narrative. No, she scheduled a meeting. Boom, the internet took off. Fans said, "Wait, affairs, plural." Suddenly, Chrissy had reversed the story. The smooth-talking rapper was no longer Jim. Now he was the untidy guy who lost a real one. Here's the twist. Though Jim didn't realize Chrissy was carrying out any of this, until his mother called, he continued to sit in denial, believing that this would end like all of their previous arguments. Mama Jones was furious, already agitated by the public outcry. "What are you doing, boy? You look like a clown on every blog because of that chick." She is presently discussing acquiring the house in Miami. Then it dawned on him. Chrissy wasn't playing a bluff. She wasn't shouting. Unlike before, she wasn't threatening to leave or tossing shoes. She had already packed up and departed, this time with receipts, an attorney, as well as a strategy. And Jim went into a frenzy. Sweating and stuttering, he went live once more and attempted to explain. "People are always trying to distort things. Man, Chrissy is good with me. She is simply emotional. At this moment, she is aware of my love for her. No one is abandoning anyone." He was pulled by the remarks. "She's already gone, bro. The papers were previously served by Chrissy. Why are you lying? You guys only show us affection while we're gone." Jim's famous buddies also began to distance themselves. An unidentified producer of Hip Hop and Love even revealed a voicemail left by Jim pleading with them not to broadcast uncut video from the most recent reunion recording, in which Chrissy supposedly confronted him off camera about messaging his ex at 3 a.m. However, the fact that Chrissy had receipts makes things worse. As well, she used them. Darling. She disclosed flight reservations, text messages, and screenshots. That same ex-girlfriend receives Cash App transfers from Jim's company account. The youngster even shared a selfie in Jim's Atlanta hotel room while sporting one of Chrissy's old fur coats. "He calls me when he's bored with nail polish." Yet the caption says his girl. The last nail was that. After that, Chrissy didn't even have to say anything. The internet as a whole spoke for her. Chrissy is worthy of better. For what did she wait 18 years? She ought to have left him. And in the middle of all of this mayhem, one voice emerged that no one had anticipated. The son of Jim's former partner. He declared, "Liv, I'm not even attempting to. I don't mean to offend my parents, but Chrissy has been a better parent to me than Dad ever was. She supported me when he didn't, and now he's treating her this way, which is wrong. It was honest, straightforward, and devastating. Jim's world is falling apart. Brand agreements began to be revoked. Sponsors withdrew in silence. He's lost the sneaker collaboration he had planned. In a statement, VH1 even hinted that Chrissy would be coming back for a solo special, Jim or not. Chrissy, meantime, was doing well. She was photographed by paparazzi entering a private building in Tebeka, beaming, smiling, and clutching a new man's hand. Yes, tall, fancy outfit, bald beard. There are rumors that he is a venture capitalist. He reportedly met Chrissy 2 months prior at a function. The news of the cheating surfaced. People are now wondering if Chrissy was truly taken by surprise or if she was already aware and was merely playing the cards. She played it well. Anyway, since Jim, Chrissy was busy leveling up while he paced his flat and watched old videos of them dancing in the living room. She only shared one Instagram story. Just a video of her pouring champagne into a glass, without any words, smirking and putting it up to the camera. And since what comes next is going to alter everything, that is where part 2 finishes. Another bombshell exploded just when Chrissy thought things couldn't get much worse. It began with a call from an unidentified number. She initially disregarded it. A second call followed by a third. Her instinct prompted her to respond. Through the queue came a quiet, quivering voice. "I believe you deserve the truth, even though you don't know me. Jim and I have been dating for some months." Chrissy's knees went to the floor. The ex was no longer the focus of this. This was a stranger, someone new. She wasn't the only one. Based on her voice, Jim had been leading a double life, according to the woman on the other end of the queue. Crying live, saying one thing to Chrissy on social media, and then stepping away to covertly console other ladies. Chrissy was unable to breathe or speak. This was no longer a heartbreak. It was humiliating. The last straw was that, only days after going live and sobbing in front of the public at losing Chrissy, the unidentified woman shared screenshots, voice notes, and even a video of Jim laughing in her flat without a shirt. There was no denying it. Now, the suffering was more than simply personal. It was open to the public. Chrissy recorded a final message to her admirers before packing her bags that evening. She gazed at the camera in the dark light of their condo, eyes that are keen but bloated. "For years, I kept quiet. Took L after L, however. This is how I'm leaving. If something cannot be forgiven, don't ask me to. I gave my name, my goals, and my youth to someone who had no intention of keeping me." At 3 a.m., she uploaded the video. 7 o'clock a.m. 3 million people viewed it. Then the internet took off. "Queen, continue to be strong. We always knew you deserved better. This individual made fun of you for years. We are now traveling with you." It was horrible when Jim woke up, though his tears were no longer shared by others. They were dragging him, old films of him making jokes about commitment and playing off Chrissy's sacrifices as though they were commonplace reappeared. She pleaded for direction, affection, and clarity, but he offered her none, according to clips from their reality show. When the trend was finally noticed, the fans weren't forgiving this time. The hashtags went viral all over the world. Hashtag Chrissy was worthy of better, no more silence. Jim Jones was made public. Even famous people had something to say. The fortitude it takes to leave after years of loyalty, respect. Tammy Rivera wrote in her comment. Tamer Braxton reposted Chrissy's video with the caption, "Say Jim attempted to clap back another live, but it failed. Goodbye to the clown. The circus is over." He appeared worn out, bewildered, and disengaged. "This isn't what you guys think, dude. Chrissy is tripping. She allowed outsiders to destroy what we had. I didn't mean to offend her, but Chrissy hadn't. Simply told her narrative, so nobody believed it. She displayed it. She waited for a man who never returned home through every scar, betrayal, and late-night waiting. It was now Jim's time to sit silently, by himself, and without her in public." Insiders behind the scenes asserted that Chrissy had already hired legal counsel for both the divorce and damages. 15 years, she gave up her career, her time, her everything, and she's walking away with nothing, remarked a close friend. Rumors circulated that Jim's label was retreating, but I didn't want to be involved. He had put off his next project. Brands are no longer available. For all the wrong reasons, no one wanted to be connected to the man who ruined the internet. Chrissy took a solo flight to Paris. She was seen by paparazzi on a rooftop terrace, with a wine glass in her hand and her locks blowing in the wind. She didn't appear damaged. She appeared rejuvenated. Everything I choose peace. I choose me, she said as the caption for a picture she shared later that day. 10 million people liked that one post, and the next day there were more rumors that Chrissy was negotiating the release of a memoir and that Oprah's crew had requested a meeting. Jim was still on live, attempting to explain, but the audience had left because no one wanted to listen to the same old excuses from a man who had every opportunity and still botched the queen. The interview revealed that major fashion designers wanted her as the face of resilience. He didn't deserve it. One thing became evident as the scandal's credits rolled across social media timelines. Chrissy was the survivor, not the victim. When the clapping stops, when the cameras fade, when the lives go dark, and when all he's left with is the echo, Jim might finally get it. The lady who waited, who hoped, who struggled, and who finally said enough regarding the woman who supported him for decades in the quiet. She left behind because certain losses are unavoidable. You either learn to live with them or not. Then, everything suddenly blew apart. This time, there would be no more silence or face. The truth was out, and it was painful. But let's face it, Jim Jones stood barefaced as Chrissy wiped away her tears and left. The story is far from over. Therefore, if you experienced that heartache, if the drama pressed that like button and shook you, sign up for the upcoming astounding Tell Us Below twisting. Should Chrissy forgive him, or is this the end? Because in this romantic game, the spotlight never goes out on betrayal.